Welcome back to my Final Fantasy XIV drama series. Today's drama story is about Lalafell's rotten luck. If you enjoy these kinds of videos, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. My friend Damon had been begging me for months on end to play Final Fantasy XIV with them. I was unsure I wanted to delve into something so big. It would involve putting forth a lot of time and effort. And being autistic, sometimes I have difficulty with change. I spoke with my husband and he agreed it was fine as long as it was something I wanted to do. I had asked him since he's the one who supports us and our family, and Damon is a friend we both met in high school. Soon after, I started my very own subscription. I made a female Lalafell. I fell for their cute trap and couldn't resist. 2 weeks into playing, Damon suddenly stops playing. I assumed it was because they were burnt out. They tend to hyper-focus on games and get a massive burnout where they never play again. They more or less had some stuff go down in the free company they were in at the time, and they wanted as far away from the game as possible. So much so that both Damon and their partner left the game. So I was left on my own, and I felt slightly uneasy about it. So I decided it was too much and was feeling pretty overwhelmed, so I stopped playing within the first month. One day, I was feeling extremely bored and I had nothing to do. I remember I had an account for Final Fantasy XIV. This was probably roughly a year or so later. I decided I would give it another go. It couldn't be nearly as bad as I originally remembered it to be. I reactivated my subscription and updated the launcher. It was a pretty big update, so I left it running overnight while I got some rest. The next day, I logged in and tried to remember how to play. I was too shy to ask for help and tell people I was a returning player. I probably looked really goofy running into walls and not realizing I had turned on auto run. I also would accidentally run right into other players entering into their personal bubbles. I ran straight into another female Lalafell named Jupiter. Jupiter was geared up from head to toe. I couldn't believe how strong and powerful she looked compared to me. I literally looked like some kind of bum living on the streets of Eorzea compared to her. We've all been there. We've all looked like noobs. It's okay. "Wow!" I exclaimed. "Your gear looks so awesome!" I thought I said something wrong because they ran away without a word. I was like, oh well, I guess. They didn't like me. I'm used to being made fun of and picked on. It was nothing new for me to basically be avoided or scoffed at. Much to my surprise, Jupiter was back. I saw a menu pop up asking me to trade. "Oh my goodness," I said to her. She had crafted me level 50 or so gear and rings for my botanist. And they gave me level 50 weapon for both my white mage and black mage. They were all a bit too high for me since I was only level 20 or so during this time. Jupiter sent me a friend request and then she left to do some higher end dungeons. A few days passed by and I bumped into Jupiter again. I said, "Hello. I hope your week has been great." She replied, I want to talk to you." I was a bit scared because usually when a conversation starts with, it's always something weird or a bit uncomfortable to respond to. Yeah, that's true. When someone actually types out, because it's not like an IRL conversation, but when they like specifically type out, I'm also like, are they role-playing? I was like, yeah, sure, what's up? Is there something I can do to help you with? I'm not very high level yet, but I can try my best if it's something small. She replied, "Would you marry me?" I just literally met this person and barely knew anything about them. I tried to be kind and considerate of their feelings. I responded, "I'm married in real life. I was hoping to one day marry my husband in game. I plan to save up for a house and an internal bond package from the MOG station. I'm sorry." Jupiter then said to me, You'll never make it on your own. You'll never make enough money to buy a house without me. And good luck ever leveling up your character. You'll make nothing of yourself. It's harder than you realize. Oh shit, they a gatekeeper. They're like, you know, Final Fantasy is actually really hard, you know? Yeah, that took a turn. Took a like sharp turn. It was like, I'll give you gifts. You're a new player, I'll give you gifts. Then they ask for a marriage request and then it gets denied and then they're just like, you can't survive without me. What you thinking? Whoa, whoa. At the time, I wasn't sure if that was advice or some kind of hate message. I felt conflicted. I don't pick up on social cues very easily sometimes. But I felt it was best to move on, so I did. It wasn't long before I met another character named Creeper. I love it when OPs like name characters based on their personality trait. So like this is spelled Kree for their first name, Cree, last name Per, P-E-R. But it's obviously supposed to be Creeper. Creepy person. So Cree. Cree happened to be in the same area as me. We were killing the same monsters, so he sent me a party invite. He was also a Lalafell as well. Man, Lalafells be attracting Lalafells. I thought, cool, another little person like me. I assumed Cree had only invited me so we weren't fighting over the monsters to make it easier for the both of us. He friend requested me just as Jupiter had done. I decided to accept it and add him as a friend. He seemed fine at first. I told him I was married and had a husband. He started to tell me stories of things that happened to him in real life. Some really tragic stories about his girlfriend who had passed away, among other things. My husband and I even met Cree in person in real life. Oh shit, okay. We found out he only lived an hour away from us and he asked for the three of us to meet up sometime for dinner. Some time had passed by since we met and became friends. I was playing online with another friend in-game named Riley. I was on my white mage healing Riley while they were finishing up some quests. I saw off in the distance something sticking up from behind a small boulder out in the middle of nowhere. I thought to myself, what the crap? What's that weird thing poking up that's purple? The closer I got, it was starting to come into picture. Egad, Odin's beard. It was Cree. He was watching me from behind a rock. He had gotten jealous that I was in a party with another player. And who knows how long he had been watching us before I had noticed him there. I asked him, what the heck? Were you watching me? He replied, I saw you with them. I responded, huh? What? I didn't know you owned me. Plus, you know that I'm married. Cree then responded, you're right. It was wrong of me. I was only jealous because you didn't invite me along to help. I mean, I don't honestly know how I would feel if I just saw one of my friends just like hiding behind a rock while I was playing with someone else. Like, that's never happened to me. I would honestly find it more funny at the time than be angry at them. I'd be like, are you playing a prank on me? You know what I mean? Like, I would just be like, what's going on here? I wouldn't get mad at them. But I don't know. Like, if this happened a lot, then I would be creeped out for sure. But just the one time I wouldn't be mad. I would just think it's a joke. Cree eventually moved to another state and said he wanted me to see his new home. So he was going to upload a personal YouTube video, but make it private, since he only wanted to share his new home with people he knew. I clicked the link he sent, which wasn't a video of his home at all. Instead, it was a video of him playing Final Fantasy XIV. I know this because I saw my Lalafell on his huge flat screen TV. He was zoomed in on my character, boxers dropped to his ankles, just pounding away like there's no tomorrow. What? So he's just masturbating to your character? I'm like grossed out but also laughing. This is so ridiculous. What the fuck? It's so gross also because it's a Lalafell. Oh god, this is so bad. This is so bad, so bad. Oh, and they met him in person. They met this Cree guy in person, right? Cree met her and her husband, and Boxer's down. Oh my god, just sending like a private link like that, that's so freaking weird. I wanted to puke, but instead I quickly shut off the video. I let it be known I didn't appreciate the video he had sent me. He responded, "You're a vindictive and naive person. I hope you burn in hell. Your husband can wipe his boogers on his boogery ass." What? Who speaks like that? Wipe his boogers on his boogery ass. I feel like that's like a grade school kid. And I hope he chokes on his next meal. All I could say was, wow, okay then. Needless to say, I blocked his ass and sent him on his way. Whoa. Can't believe that someone, like, they also met in person and they're just wilding out like that and freaking sending you that weird private video link. Oh my god. That means they probably were doing that with your character, like, for I don't even know how long. A few days later, Riley and I decided to run a dungeon together we both needed. We used the duty roulette and finally got a party. We got into the dungeon and this healer named Tim was level 50 but didn't know his butt from a hole in the ground. Tim started spamming "protect us" over and over. Our health was dropping and he was yelling that his heals weren't sufficient enough for the damage we're taking. Huh? What does he mean, protect us? Either that or we needed better gear. Our gear was fine and up to date for our level. Then he asked us how to play the healer's job because he doesn't know any of his skills or actions. After giving the best advice we could, we carried on. Tim started yelling at us again. "My heals can't reach you! I don't know how to heal you from here!" We explained the best we could. And then we were told, "You're a bunch of idiots. You won't even accept my heals since it's not going off." And he left the dungeon thinking it was on us. Not gonna lie, I blocked him after that and I cringe every time I get paired up with him since then. Remember Damon from the beginning of the story? One of Damon's real-life friends, Savannah, still played the game, and she remembered me from when my husband and I used to be roommates with Damon and their partner. They saw me in-game and were like, oh, I remember you. Would you like to join our free company? They're really helpful and great people." I said, I really don't know much about this, but sure, I guess. I was feeling a bit hesitant, but I bit the bullet and just decided to go for it. I was welcomed into the free company. The free company was doing some dungeon runs one afternoon. I was asked if I wanted to come along, probably because I was a white mage and they needed a healer, so I agreed to go. This girl named Jazzy, who was a tank, was also the leader of the party. I wasn't particularly fond of her. She seemed snooty and liked it her way. Her rules or else. She announced that drops were free for all. If you need them, take them. So any healing gear which dropped, I gladly took. Nothing was said during the run, so I assumed everything was fine that day. That was until the next day when Jazzy and the FC leader asked to speak with me. I thought it was odd, but assumed it was nothing since I had done nothing wrong. Boy, I was surprised. Apparently Jazzy had talked behind my back with the leader and even an officer in the free company about me, which was her boyfriend. She told them, "She's trouble. She went into the dungeon yesterday with us and took all the gear that dropped." I tried to defend myself by stating that Jazzy said drops were free for all, and while I did take gear, it was only for white mage and healing gear. Jazzy then said, I should have screenshot it for proof, but I didn't think of it at the time. And now I have nothing to show. The FC leader still took Jazzy's word, and I felt defeated and harassed. What the heck? That's so weird. This is like a series of mini stories of the OP just sharing all their weird events. But in this FC, it's so weird that someone would even care about what items go where, because like everything is always free for all. You know, like there's need and greed, first of all. Someone can't possibly really get all of the greeds unless they're extremely lucky. So there's that. Just sounds like they're power tripping or something. And if this Jazzy girl is running to the FC leader and trying to like say you're this and that and have no proof, and then have the FC leader be on her side, then they're obviously just friends and they're kind of like being weird about it and treating you weirdly. Some time went by and my grandpa fell ill and was in the hospital. He was about to undergo an emergency open heart surgery. My mind was racing and elsewhere. I couldn't concentrate on anything. I announced in the free company that he was having surgery, and I was feeling sad and distraught, and how I was playing as a distraction to clear my mind. The leader B-I-T. The leader Bit messaged me suddenly, asking to keep me company. I accepted her offer, told her that it was fine and I wouldn't mind the company. She told me to follow her, and she would show me how to reach certain locations so I could unlock the aetherites. So I followed close behind her. I would turn left or right depending on which location she would turn. All of a sudden, she stops her chocobo and says, "All right, I'm getting tired of doing all the work here. You're clearly AFK and putting me on follow. I won't have this." I wasn't auto-following her. I said, "Look, I'm turning when you turn. I just have really fast reflexes, I guess." She said, "Nope, nobody can turn that precisely without an auto-follow. You're on your own." She teleported off and left me literally in the middle of nowhere. So now, not only am I sad and worried about my grandpa and his surgery, but now I'm seeing this FC leader in a whole new light. However, I chalked it up that everyone has their bad days. I decided to give them another chance. I mean, like, why is that even a problem if they were auto-following them? You can just type something to them to see if they're there. They obviously have to, like, tune to the aetherites or get the little green wisps. I'm not sure which one they're doing, if they're getting, like, the green wisp thingies or the aetherite. Like, they're obviously there if they have to tune or get those things. So what does it matter if they're auto-following through the movement part? That part I don't really get. I was getting tired of being a Lalafell after a while of playing, so I thought I'd change up my looks a bit, remembering that I was given a Fantasia for free in the game. I changed to a Mikote. I was a Mikote for several months. I happened to be in Limsa checking some of the NPC stalls there. Jupiter, if you guys remember, ran up to me and said, "Whoa!" I wasn't sure how to respond since our last conversation was so weird and made me uncomfortable. So I didn't really say anything. I pretended to be AFK. I thought they would leave if I didn't respond, but then I hear the message alert from the in-game DM go off. It was Jupiter saying, "You got some thick legs." I just didn't respond, and then Jupiter eventually left. They must have liked OP's Mikote, I guess. Then one day, I'm doing some missions solo. I happened to mention this in the free company chat. I wasn't asking for help. I was just striking up a conversation because I had no one to talk to. One of the officers named Kiss Ass. They did it again. So Creeper, now Kiss Ass. First name Kiss, last name Ass. Took it as though I was asking for help, but I assumed they were only coming out to be nice, and maybe they help all members whether or not it's needed. I then was asked to wait for Bit, the FC leader, because she wanted to come along and not continue on without her. I waited for quite a while, as I was asked to do, just standing and waiting, but being told to be patient because Bit was almost there. Bit took close to an hour to finally coming out. So we finally did the mission. I was on, which took an hour more than I originally anticipated. I thanked both Kiss and Bit and told them I had to leave the party because a friend of mine was getting married in the game, and I had to leave or else I'd be late to the ceremony. Bit threw the biggest fit that ever was. She accused me of using them to get what I needed in-game and bailing on them. I went to the wedding despite what she said and celebrated my friend's marriage. I wasn't going to let some old hag witch and her little minion troll ruin my friend's big day. It was later that same day that I received a personal message from Bit in DMs. She screeched at me, "You are a bitch and nothing more than trouble." I said, excuse me? What the F did I do? She then yelled, "Don't play stupid, you little twat. You always ask for help, but you never help anyone in return," which is the biggest lie ever. I always answered to people whenever they would ask questions in the chat. I'd even look up the information for others if I didn't know the answers myself. And if it was something I could do, I would help that person. If it wasn't something I couldn't do, yeah, of course I wouldn't be able to help them, and I'd leave it to someone else who could. I tried to explain this to her, but she didn't listen. It went in one ear and out the other. Bit then brought up my grandpa into the conversation. She said I'd used his illness that day to get my way with people. I remember her mom had been ill recently as well, with COPD. It was one of the same illnesses my grandpa was also suffering, which later on he died from. I was kind and mentioned that both her mom and my grandpa suffered from the same disease. There was no remorse or anything. Instead, she screeched at me again. "How dare you bring my dying mother into this? You should be ashamed of yourself." I asked her this, "So it's fine to belittle me over my grandpa's illness, which is the same illness your mother is battling, but if I mention it, then I've committed a heinous crime of sorts, and now I'm some sort of villain?" She then proceeded to harass me and called me a chicken, all because I'd left to attend my friend's wedding. Between doing the missions and waiting for her to come out, around 2 hours had passed. I was getting pressed for time, but she had to get the last word in. As I stated earlier, you're nothing more than a bitch who just wants to succeed without lifting a finger and helping others. Following people on auto run, getting help, and immediately ditching people without a single thank you. That was a lie too. I did thank them, but she continued on to say, as she kicked me from the free company, "Someone else can invite you back in, but don't come crying to me if one of the officers or myself kicks you out again." I swear, I know what YouTube is going to say. What kind of childish arguments are these? I am actually really alarmed that they're fighting over the littlest of things. Bit's free company basically fell apart within the following year. She pretty much became a bully to her entire free company and all its members, which caused the free company to split and form a second free company. Of course, she got angry over this. Bit and Kiss both left the free company and passed on the leadership rights to someone else. Then Bit decided she wanted back in the free company as well as having leadership over it. When she was denied rights as leader and/or any form of officer position, she moved on and made another free company and tried to get her power back as a free company leader. While she did succeed in making the free company and gathering several members, it didn't last long. They too figured her out and wanted nothing to do with her or the free company. So she gave up and joined another free company instead. I found out from this personal experience that you cannot please everyone. You can try, but they'll always find something negative or wrong about you in the end. Whether or not it's true doesn't matter. Due to what happened during my time here, I mostly play alone now. I sometimes use the duty support and run dungeons with NPCs, so I feel like I have friends with me, since I don't really have any friends in game. Oh, that's so sad. They're just like, I just play with NPCs, you know, those are my friends. But I also kind of like it that way. It keeps the drama away, and I don't have to worry about people like Cree or Bit. I'm still hoping that one day my husband will join me and my friends will come back to the game and play with me again. Until then, I'll just continue on this journey and hope it leads me somewhere great. like this channel. Thank you, Pathra. Oh, that's so sweet of them to say. Like, they found my channel and they enjoy it so much. You're welcome. Glad you like my channel, OP. Yeah, I think the best solution is definitely get your husband to play. Because, you know, I remember at the start of the story, you were like, you have plans to marry them, not anybody else in the game. Yeah, hopefully some of your closer friends, IRL, or your husband can play the game, so then that way you have people to play with. You can still make new friends here and there, but OP did title the story Rotten Luck, right? So they believe they have rotten luck based on like the people they've met so far. And that's just how it is. Sometimes you don't meet the greatest people. That happens everywhere. It happens in life. It can happen in game. Like, I've met my fair share of like not so great people in the game, but I've also met my fair share of some of like the best people I've ever wanted to meet in the game also. So, you know, just don't close yourself off fully. Like, there's still good people out there. You can still make friends. Yeah, that's just my advice. Yeah, people should respect you. If you say no and reject their marriage offer, they honestly shouldn't be that like angry at you. That's so silly. It's just a game. You don't have to like marry someone if you don't want to, especially if you don't feel comfortable with someone to do that in the game since you just met and all that. Sometimes you do get a random proposal. Yeah, and sometimes people like that. Like, but you know, everyone should just respect people's boundaries. Like, some people like it, some people don't like it, and that's totally fine. Based on stories I've read, like, I know people like obviously want friends in the game, but if you're noticing like if you feel like this person's your friend and you keep like trying to like communicate with your friend, but they're not doing it's not like a two-way street. Like, you're giving them stuff, or like you're putting effort. Sorry, this is the right words. You're putting effort into the friendship, but they're not putting the same effort back, then they're not really your true friends. So like just like give them that space, like, or just be acquaintances only. Like, the same rules apply to IRL to in-game. Like, if this person is just not really playing a lot with you, don't put like too much effort with that person anymore. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this Final Fantasy XIV drama story. If you have any of your own drama stories that you'd like me to share and read out anonymously, feel free to reach out to my Discord, discord.gg/Pathra.